Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is time for Evening Brews. So I hope everyone is good, everyone is well. Alex has just finished work. He's going to be with us momentarily. Should I say Alex? Should I say Mr. Box Office? Who knows? But he will be here very, very shortly. So whilst we are waiting for him to join, first of all, I hope everyone is having a good day, whatever you've done and wherever you are. Let's just do a quick bit of hello to everyone whilst we wait for Alex. So Tom Thacker, good day to you, my good friend. As to Stephen Cartwright, Psycho Fox, good evening to you, buddy. Transfer roulette and transfer business will be spoken quite heavily in this episode. So we shall see what we all think of it. And I want you guys to be as active as you always are on this show. Andrew Gregory, channel member, big up to you. Someone I haven't seen for a long time, my good friend Perchy, who's currently on loan at Espanyol. Big up, lads. What a shamble of a transfer window. 2 kids and a donkey. Now we want a bloody burger. Yup. And the sad thing is, Perchy, you actually could make this up. Tweaky, big up to you, brother. I hope you're good and well. Jeep, hello, sir. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're good and well. Matt is with us. Big up to you, Matty. Ryan McFarlane, good evening to you. Boxing Hotspur 57, good evening to you, good sir. And to my namesake, Brian Maguire. Brian spelled the correct way. That's what when people say to me, Brian, how do you spell your name? I say the correct way, and then they either say right or wrong. Gary Becks, big up to you, sir. I hope you're good and well. I can see Box Office in the background. I'm just going to finish off the hellos, then I'll bring you in, Alex. Mark Cousins, channel. Mod, big up to you. Beyond 72, big up to you. Ben Davies will be discussed. Daniela, good evening to you. Ben Kaufman is in the building. Audio Artisan is in the building. Lisa is in the building. Everyone, wish this man a very, very happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Hasper. Danny boy, I am doing better. I'm getting better and stronger. Thank you very much. I hope you're good. Another channel member in Tom81. Kate, good afternoon to you, darling. And we have Phil P. Woo, is in the building, as well as Scott Colliver. Big up to you. And to Paul Clark. I am good, mate. I hope you are well. Okay, so going to bring in the one, the only, Mr. Box Office. Alex, how are you, sir?
Same Spurs, different day, like Dan says. Yeah, that's it. It's been a long time in the wait making us to doing a stream with Brian, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It has been.
So this is going to be a good one, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah. It is. Obviously, my health has stopped it, or you've been bit. We just haven't been able to get it. But we spoke last week because we had to have a little discussion, and we agreed to do today. And today we do it. So we're going to stick on topic. We've got a lot to talk about. Everyone in the chat, feel free to join in. The first topic we're talking about, Alex, I'll read it out and give you my opinion. Then I'm going to hand it over to you, okay?
Yeah.
So this is obviously the rumours about Kulesi and the reunion with Conte is something that won't go away. So Last Word on Spurs put this out. This is where I've got it from, but obviously it was reported by Calcio Napoli 24. Tottenham have informed Napoli that forward Dejan Kulesi would cost them 45 million if he is to leave this summer. Conte's Napoli are hoping the quoted fee will reduce in the coming weeks. All I will say on that part is, do you realise who you're dealing with? I think Conte should know who he's dealing with. Now, I see the logic behind this deal completely. I've been very critical of Kulesi, incredibly critical of him, but I'm very critical of him, Alex, when he's out wide. I know how you feel about him, and we'll come to you. When he's out wide, He just slows the play down under a Postecoglou system. The defensive attributes and hold up play fantastic. Forward, he's just not got it in him unless he plays in the centre. I have to say, I criticise him when he's out wide. I have to give him praise when he does come inside. I want more from him. I want better from him. But one thing I will say about this is I can't see that fee of, I think so. Let me just bring it up again. Say 45 million euros. Yeah, it did. There's no way that 45 million euros, in my opinion, gets a deal done. Alex, what's your thoughts on the links with Kulesi to Napoli and overall your thoughts of him? You're on mute, Mr. Boxer. You're on mute, brother.
Get rid. I've had enough of him. Get rid. If we're going to start judging Dele Alli, saying that Dele Alli had only a few seasons, this I only had 5 minutes, and I told you he's a reject. So, and like now people are saying it. It's ironic. I said that this guy was a reject when he came in from Juventus, and Bentancur was a reject from Juventus, and now everyone starts to agree with me. Oh, it's Mr. Botsov again, but saying the truth again. But the point I'm making is that I'm sorry. I mean, everyone's waxing lyrical about his pass. Yes, it was a very good pass, but that was the only thing he did in a friendly in against QPR, which you expected for a guy who's supposed to be very, very good. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's useless. He only did had a few good games. Yes, I admit it. Yeah, he looked good in midfield. He didn't turn up. He didn't turn up half a season last season. I'm sorry. I mean, and then you keep on hearing he's not good for the system and all this and all that. Cavascalia shows you that what a good wing is all about. You know what I mean? For Napoli and for what is it? Whoever it was, in the Euros. You know what I mean? That's a good player. That's a very good player. I'm sorry, get rid. He's had his chance. You know what I mean? Like with other teams, you see Aston Villa, yeah.
Yep.
Diaby had 1 season. 1 season. Everyone was waxing lyrical about that guy, yeah. 1 season, off now. He's gone now because Aston Villa cut their ties with him. That's ruthless because Aston Villa want to get somewhere. That's it. So I mean, sorry, it's a harsh world out there, but unfortunately, we're too soft with our players. Yeah, which everyone was complaining about before, and that's it. So that's all I've got to say. Get rid. We can get better. Sorry, I'm done with him.
Okay, so Alex, going back on it, if the deal was 45 million euros,
yeah,
do you reckon that's the right euros?
I'll take that deal right now. I honestly, I wouldn't waste my time anymore because at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers. And it's not like we're that fussed anyway because we're getting youngsters in because we're doing this youth project anyway. So you know what I mean? It's like for me, I'm sorry. At the moment, for me, I don't think you can pay any more than that for me because he ain't that great. He ain't that great. I'm sorry. He's all right, but he ain't that great. I've seen better.
I will say you have one thing I will say. I didn't believe when you first started saying this, when the deals went down about Juve rejects, there is no doubt in my mind, and I won't have anything said otherwise, Kulesi in the first 6 months, so under Conte when we got fourth, was simply devastating. There's no other way. Him, Son Kane were ruthless. They were unstoppable. And that was in that system. And then Conte the first full season, he was up and down, I would say. But this season, what I want Kulesi to do and what I want Kulesi to be is what we saw those 6 months. I think we would all love to see that Kulu back. But he's not in this style of play. There's not a space for him to do that. If he did, could you see him as backup for or competition for Maddison, or if you are Ange Postecoglou, you are taking the money and hoping that you get it to reinvest?
I'll just get rid of him. I've got no belief in Postecoglou anyway. But the point I'm making is, well, he'll make the right decision anyway. But the point I'm making is that for me at the moment, Players need to get better every season. That's the problem. Right? They rest on their laurels. He didn't see this back in the 90s. He didn't see this. This is the thing. Because they're so reliant on the system and the manager to tell them what to do. I'm sorry. And again, if we watch Mr. Box Office TV and watch other channels I've been on, I've said this myself already. And people are starting to see what I'm saying. Watch the Euros and look how many players were actually decent. It was a bang average tournament for a reason. For attacking players, the only one player that stood out was the player I've just mentioned, Cavascalia, because he'd take on his man. This guy doesn't do it. He looks like a right back, let alone a striker. He has got the abilities to be a striker. He has got the abilities to be a forward. He has, but he doesn't do it. He's just so frustrating, and that's it. And he has not got. But I'm sorry, that 6 months is because no one knew about him. That's the problem. He had no one to know about him. Yeah, when you start in the Premier League, you start off like a shot because no one knows about you, and then you start to realize what the players like because they don't get better. Because now teams have figured it out, and now people now realize, oh, just put him on his right foot, and now you don't see the best of him, and that's it. So really, for me, that 6 months was just a honeymoon period for me, and I knew straight away it was a honeymoon period. And because Spurs were playing, got so many bang average players before. Tottenham players, oh yeah, wow, fascinating. Kulesi, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. But I think people forget we had Gareth Bale, we had Modric, we had Sheringham, we had Berbatov, we had how many players?
Yep. Listen, when you say that, I can see where you're coming from. Listen, I've said it before. I have been impressed with Kulu in the centre, but never. I don't want to see him out wide. I think he slows things down. Simple yes or no to the 114 already in the chat. Just yes or no. 45 million euros on the table right now, let's just say from Napoli. Are you taking it? Just
Yes.
a simple yes or no. That's it. And then we're going to move on to the next subject because I think of 45 million. I want to say yes, but I don't know what we'd do to bring in. And we're going to come on to the next story. We'll explain exactly with why I'm saying that with the fires. Bobby K's in the house. Big up. Haven't seen you in the chat for a while. Let's see what people are saying so far. I'm going to go, where did these start? Okay, so let's have a look. We have, okay, it's a no way from Matt. We have a yes from Tweaky. We have a yes from Dan. And everyone, check out that. If this is how his channel is written, Dan, just say yes or no. He does a lot of good work for kids, offering them support. So if you can get a chance, he has a YouTube channel. Put the name of your channel in, Dan. Please go and give him a like or a subscribe. He does a lot of great work. So, Jazz, take it. Boxing, yes. Ben, yes.
Kevin Ferguson's got an interesting question there.
Is worse than Solomon Johnson Werner? No. But I think, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to stand by, and I'll probably get a lot of hate from it in here. I think Brennan Johnson, there's a player there. And I think this season's going to be a good season for him. Alex, as I quickly go through it.
I love that question from Kevin Ferguson, because that's the problem we've got at the moment. Is he better than Solomon, Johnson, and Werner? That shouldn't be the question. That shouldn't be the question. Can he be the best in the Premier League? That's the point. Right? Can he be the best winger in the Premier League right now? Can he be better than that? That's the question you should be answering. Not, oh, is he better than the wingers we've got? Well, that should be a standard. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? If you're not better than our wingers, well, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be here in the club. You should be in the Championship anyway. So I love that question from Kevin, because that just sums up the aspects of our fan base.
You know what it is, because you can see here now, Alex. It's an overwhelming yes for the 45 million to Kulu. There's Mark is saying 45p I'd take. I think you might be in a bit jokey there, but it's a majority of yes. Like I said, Phil, I've just seen your question. People that are new to the show or have just joined, if you have a question for myself or Alex, or you want a channel to be discussed between all of us, put a Q and a dash or at TOT dash, and I will star the ones I see and we'll bring them up. But if you want us to stop the conversation and bring it straight away, you can always put in a super chat. But like we always say, there is absolutely no obligation to do that. We are here to have some fun, build this community, and have general Spurs chat, whether it be about the board, the owners, the players, the fans, whatever it may be. So there's some more yeses that are made. Listen, I'm going to say it is an overwhelming yes. But now, the reason I say about the 45 million now, I'm going to bring this up. Alex, again, I'll have my little say, then I'm going to let you wax lyrical. So now I'm going to explain this one as well. Obviously, I don't know if anyone has joined, or I have a lot of people go, haven't heard this one yet, haven't seen this one yet with the ITK buzzwords or whatever. Well, I don't know if anyone's seen it before, but today, July the 23rd, marks the first time an ITK, a journalist, a person in the know has used the line we all love to hear, and I'll read it in a second. Justin, Tottenham interest in Eberechi Eze is more advanced than Manchester City's this summer. Spurs need to sell players before they can advance, whilst Manchester City depends on De Bruyne. Now, I put a tweet out instantly going, is this lazy journalism for engagement and clicks and likes, or is there some actual truth to it? Where I am is it is pure lazy journalism. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's a line we hear. And what I'm getting concerned about is we're doing this again, where it's looking like whether Eze's on the table or not, big clubs will go get the deals done. We're sitting here waiting, twiddling our thumbs. And I'm going to embellish on it a bit more when we get to Ange's recent comments and the comments from 2 months ago. But someone was in the chat yesterday, and I think it might have been Matty, that said exactly what this guy's just said, that it depends on De Bruyne going. I've said it a million times. I want this guy so badly. I wanted him more than Maddison last year. I think he does leave Crystal Palace this window. I think he does leave it. If he goes to a City, listen, there's no point trying to compete with them because we just can't. I will be annoyed that it's been another year wasted with looking into him, knowing the deal. If he goes to a City, but if he ends up down the road, I am going to be absolutely fuming. Alex, where are you with sell to buy? Is it lazy journalism? Where are you with what's going on with Eze? Fire away, buddy.
I'm kind of fed up of it now, to be honest with you. I heard you, and big up to your. Listen, you're doing really well, Brian. You know I've got a love for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, straight back at you.
You know it's all love between me and you. It's all football. I might have a go at you, but it's only because of football.
Straight back away. Trust me, straight back at you.
That's it. That's understandable. But Johnny said something very, which I can't agree with. Right? He says Eze. If we get Eze in, it's gonna bring the fan base together. And for me, that's a problem for me because Eze should be a signing. I think Sava said it brilliantly. He says that should be a normal signing for us because we were doing this under Redknapp. Redknapp was buying players that were, like an Eze, that were, already been in the Premier League, can just go in and just get the job done. We had Palacios, we had Defoe, we had Keane. You know what I mean? In the past, we had Sherwood. You know what I mean? Michael Carrick before, Martin Yole. But now it's looked as a top signing now because unfortunately, and I think when you get onto the Ange question, you'll get an idea. Well, you already know what I feel about Ange anyway, but you'll get even more further on that. I think with the whole thing with what we're doing at the moment, it doesn't take a lot to get the fan base on board. Unfortunately, because I don't think they've been fed lots of scraps and they're getting used to it. For me, I've seen this before. Now, Eze should be a signing we should be getting. You know what I mean? And the thing that annoys me about this is that I kept on hearing about we're FFP kings. This is the most important transfer window going. Well, the way that we're acting, this is not the most important transfer window. And make your mind up because I was told that it's either we need to give it 4 years or this is the most important summer transfer window going. So make your mind up. I don't know.
Yep.
But for me, it's no surprise to me whatsoever. I'm not actually getting annoyed by the transfers. You might not look like it because you see me and I'm unleashing most of the time, but I'm not getting annoyed by it. It's because I'm zoned out, and everything I said in June last year is kind of coming to pass at the moment. I don't see the plan. I don't know what Tottenham are all about. And that's why I've been zoning out, and that's it. And on this signing, for me, this should be a simple signing. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does go to Man City. And I think Elise for who used to be at Crystal Palace, went to Bayern Munich, is a better player than Eze, because I think he's got more arrogance about him
Okay.
and got that swag about him that he don't really care. You know what I mean? And if you put some good players around him, which he's got some good players around him in Bayern Munich, he can really get him going. And the thing is, the problem I have with Eze at the moment, he's coming to a club again. And this is why I criticise about the youngsters. He's coming into a club that have got no leaders, no winners in our team. Only got Romero, who's not going to be here that long. I'll tell you that for a fact. You know what I mean? After winning the Copa for the second time. Yep. So now, World Cup, two Copa Americas. You think he's going to stick around at Tottenham just to win a Carabao Cup or get Champions League? You're having a laugh. But the point I'm making is that, he's coming to a club possibly with no winners. And what has he got to inspire him at the moment? Ange Postecoglou said, we play like our football. All right, mate. You know what I mean? I'd rather go Man City all day long because I learn more from Guardiola. You know what I mean? Even though it hasn't worked out for Grealish, right? I'd rather go out to Guardiola all day long rather than go to Tottenham than getting hopes and dreams and getting absolutely nothing, and that's it. Sorry, that's all I need to say. Back to you, Brian.
Yeah, what, mate? Do you know what? Wait, can you just say back to you? I'm done, because you can't say
back to you, Ryan. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know.
Now I feel good. Now I feel good. So before we go on to the next story, so the next couple is about Ange, and I am going to go on one of my calculated, calm rants, and it's not about Ange. It's not about Ange, but the comments will be. And you'll see. I mean, Eze, I don't know. Do you want him? Yes or no, people? Just yes or no. By the end of the window, is Eberechi Eze in a lily white shirt? That's all. I'm yes or no. Just yes or no. And this man is a very, very busy man doing his paramedic stuff. So happy to keep you awake, or keep you occupied whilst you're working, mate. So we will wait for some yes or no. Okay, so here we go. So we had the overwhelming 45 million for Kulesi to Napoli. Would you take it? Yes. Now the question is, will Eze be wearing a Spurs shirt? No. Negatory. No. No. Unfortunately, no. Gary, no. So I think we can say we are pretty. I've been saying it will be, Michael, but I think, do you know what? I think the way I've seen it is, I reckon if it had been done before the Euros and we'd acted immediately, and I'm not saying, I think if Spurs had really wanted this, they knew the buyout clause, they knew they've been doing this for so long, I think this would have been done before the Euros. I thought this would have been, they were training at the Spurs training ground. I know that's all with England, but they had the opportunity to get it. And yes, it is an overwhelming. Eze's not coming. I think the ship has sailed. But right, we're going to go on to the next slide. Now, I'm going to go again, Alex. I'll have my, then we'll go straight back over to you. Now, I'm going to do this in, well, actually, we'll do this in two separate parts. So, someone, and I can't remember who tweeted it or retweeted this, but it was someone I follow, and fair play to him. It was someone that was Levy out. I can't remember, but I saw this because it was 2 months ago yesterday that this was said, the 22nd of May. And now this quote has started to get a lot of traction. So it was Ange Postecoglou. We want new attacking players, absolutely. It's no secret. We need that. It's also key to get transfers done as early as possible. It's important. So I simply read, as have many others, saying it's 2 months ago. What's happening? This is what Ange said, what Ange wanted. Here we go again. Now, this has caused such a stir, not just my tweet, loads of other people. You've got people saying, and I'm going to keep this tweet up a bit so we can just see it. So you've got people saying, well, getting them in as early as possible could mean any time after the Euros and getting them in as early as the club could, not as early as the transfer window opens. Then it's, don't worry, we're doing our business, we're getting them out, we're doing this, we're doing it. Now, obviously, people like myself, I have refrained from going nuts on Twitter this summer. I refuse to. But the one that's getting me is, once again, we're being told it doesn't matter, hardly anyone else is spending. And that one is getting to me because we're getting to the point where from my opinion, and I'm not trying to say this to be sarcastic or put people down, my idea of a transfer window is to strengthen your squad and get your players in to be able to be stronger to compete with your nearest rivals. Would you agree with that, Alex? That's the whole... no matter whether you're a Premier League or League Two or Belgium, that's the idea of the transfer window, to get your target in. Now, obviously, we've heard that we had to be careful for PSR and FFP, which we're by far superior than most teams. And then I'm hearing, but when they say it doesn't matter because other teams aren't doing it, I haven't realised that now people are seeing the transfer window as we have to wait for our rivals to start strengthening. Then when they start spending, it's like, oh, they're spending, we best. A lot of these teams also above us, i.e. your Arsenals and the teams that are above us, don't need to rush out and spend because they're so far ahead of us. Then you hear, oh, it was the Euros. The Euros have slowed everything down in the Copper, which I agree with. I completely agree with. But what I don't agree with, and this happened, and if you're watching because your Twitter account doesn't have a name, it's whatever it is, but I do speak to him regularly, said, when I said, well, how comes Morata got a here we go to Milan within 24 hours of leading Spain as captain to victory? And this person came back and said to me, well, why would Spurs want them? He's 31 years old. And I was like, I'm not talking about their age. I'm not mentioning their age. I'm mentioning people have been saying you can't get deals done because of the Euros. One's been done for the one that was there the longest and won it. Manchester United have gone on and signed people, obviously, this week, regardless. I'm just getting a little bit annoyed now. And it's not even at the club. It's not even at the club. I understand, in my views, I'm very outspoken, but I understand that I'm delivering the same message, but in a different way now. And I am getting annoyed. I am seeing traits of, this time it's different. And I'll say it again, getting players out this window, the club have done very well. Shaving money off the wage bill, the club have done very well. What they haven't done well is you look at the fees that we've got for these players because we've had them on for so long. You look at the reason I say Eze, and why I'm linking this to the Eze deal as well, Alex, is this whole buy to sell. Now, the big clubs sell their stars like United did with Jaap Stam, Van Nistelrooy. If they got too big for the club, or we're going to cash in on you whilst you're at your high and use that to reinvest. Manchester City, now everyone will go, oh, Manchester City got the money, they break the rules. The way they got Haaland was selling Zinchenko and Jesus to raise funds, and they put a bit of money in, but they sold two players that were in demand, not players because we can't get rid of them or cheap deals. And the reason I'm linking this to Eze as well, and I know for a fact Spurs fans will go potty if this happens. If De Bruyne goes, let's just say he goes to Saudi, City will get Eze, and do you know how they'll finance that deal? Spurs will go buy Grealish and finance that. So Man City will cash in on a player that hasn't been doing it last season, has still got a big market value, and go take him. Kind of like what happened with Bale. the way Real Madrid financed Bale was that lot down the road wanted Ozil. Here you go, 45 million quid. We use that towards Bale. So I'm getting a bit annoyed where I can admit where I'm wrong when it comes to but these excuses now are starting to wear a little bit thin with me. Alex, where are you on this? And people in the chat.
For me, this is just the way we are. This is the thing. I think it's not really a surprise to me anymore. To be honest with you, I don't really get angry about it anymore. I think the only thing I'm just a bit annoyed about is the fans going over the top about our signings. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can get. That's the only thing I'm confused about. But I think that's just the way we are now because we've been sent so much scraps, and that's it for me. The thing that really gets to me as well is that I keep on hearing, "Oh, it's not the end of the transfer window." I'm not being funny. Ange just told us what we're going to be doing. He told us that we're going to get 6 or 7 signings in, which is what we've been doing the last how many years now. So, you know what I mean? So nothing's going to be different in that sense. I think the one that really is surprising to me at the moment, I think one thing I need to say as well is, and I think the differences between West Ham and Aston Villa and who else has been bidding a lot of it. I mean West Ham and there's other teams as well that are similar to us and they're bidding. I think they're not afraid to get rejected. Tottenham are just really very afraid to get rejected. I think they're very afraid to get rejected and look like fools. I think they've been I think they got really damaged by the whole Diaz situation when Liverpool got Diaz from them.
Yep.
I think they got really damaged by it because you see West Ham, they're quite happily to go out and try and sign players. Aston Villa are quite happily, even if they get rejected, they don't really care. They're like, well, at least we're showing the ambition, at least we're trying, and that's it. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think Ange and on I mean, I just need to put my 2 pence on Ange. You know what I feel about him. I don't like him. I'm not there with him. I don't believe in him. For me, I don't think he's a good coach. I still stick by what I say. There is still question marks on the coaching staff that are coming in. Even though the one coach that came from Hibernian, he's an interesting character. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I think this period on the pre-season tour is very, very important. Very important. I have to say this, because then we'll see whether the coaches really try and improve the quality of the players that we've got. And it's important because if we're going to say that we're going to get these players in that need to improve and have got potential, well, coaches are then to try and improve them individually to make them better, not just to improve them in the system. So I think that's going to be important, especially when you've got 2 games a week in Europe. But I'm just a bit. I'm not convinced at the moment. I'm seeing the same things I saw last season. I don't enjoy the football. Sorry, I'm not getting there. I don't get it. And it's not even just Ange. I think the fans are turning me off. They've turned me off big time on him. So yeah, it's got to take a lot of persuading for me at the moment. And I think he talks a lot too much. I think he gets himself out. I think he gets himself into lots of knots, and that's it for me. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to your chat because I know you love your chat, Brian. But I'm sorry, you're not gonna like me. You're not gonna like me. But unfortunately, I ain't gonna come backwards and come forward, and that's it for me. That's
Mate,
the way I feel. That's the way I feel.
The thing I love about our chat, and I'll let Matty know because Matty found us from We Are Tottenham TV. Matty, the reason we got some Arsenal fans in here is obviously you'll see on We Are Tottenham TV, the Arsenal fans come in and just talk nonsense and banter and try to be rude and insulting. Vindaloo, Indian Guna, Angus McDowell, for the 3 that I know that they're not just on this channel, they're on loads of channels. We have a couple of Chelsea fans in Ariban. And another person, there's a Wolves guy, a couple of Wolves guy. People that love to talk football are always more than welcome. And the 3 that have come in, and the 3 I mentioned with the Arsenal fans, they are always respectful. They are always being part of the conversation. Yeah, there's a little bit of banter back and forth, but all people are welcome. And as you were saying, Alex, when it comes to this with our chat, the great thing we have is this chat, like what channels, like all the channels that we've been on before, sometimes the chat can get absolutely vile and trolls come in and put really nasty stuff as fake people. Thankfully, we don't get it here. We work incredibly hard to make sure that whether people disagree or agree in the chat, or even agree with me or you or the guest, it's done correctly. It's done correctly, which is why I love what we're trying to do here. And I think it's why the channel is growing slowly but surely, because everyone is welcome. Everyone's allowed their opinion. But the second you start stepping out of line, we won't tolerate it. And when you got Ben Kaufman, the mod father, in about, you don't mess about, because he's there. But right, moving on to Ange, another thing with Ange, and I'm sorry guys, I'm struggling to keep up with the comments and the conversation, but I am gonna keep going through them. So sorry if we don't stop and talk unless they're questions, but I will try to bring them all up on the screen. So we've just spoken about obviously what's going on with Spurs, and like I said, what I'm getting, the main thing with that one, Alex, was, again, I can feel this fan base is ready to go again. You can see it on social media now. The good thing is normally, and I will say, last year I instigated a lot of it, because I just wanted...
stop saying that too.
No, Alex, I'm true to myself. I literally, don't get me wrong, the abuse I received.
Yeah, but Brian, you're not that bad. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian, but I just need to say this. Yeah, one thing I will give it to you. Yeah, you stuck by your guns.
I always will.
Yeah, but not everyone's perfect. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. I love you as a guy, and yes, I did have a go at you before, but the only reason why is because it's football. Because I didn't agree with you about the youngsters. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to be fair to you, you put your hat on a few of those youngsters. What is his name? I forgot his name now. There's a couple of them that you love. You absolutely love. Alfie Devine. You've been talking about him for a long time. So, you know what I mean? You love this club. You came over and you had to be away from your wife for how long? Because you wanted to do stuff to try and, get up this fan base to try and go against Daniel Levy. So that's respect to you, you know what I mean? So you love this club. So okay. I think you're very harsh on yourself a little bit sometimes.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But anyway, before we do anything, breaking news. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, buddy. Pep Guardiola has just confirmed that De Bruyne will not
I heard that as well.
So whether that is brilliant news for us, it's certainly not for the Premier League, because he's still absolutely incredible. What I will say, there's someone I saw in the chat, Gary Banks, and you're right. There's, let me try and find the chat. There's a little bit a while ago where he spoke about, that's right, we've asked to rip contracts up and get rid, and now we're doing it, which is right. And I agree with that. Now that we're doing it, it's great, it's brilliant, but now incomes need to come in. But Gary, completely agree with you. Like I said, what the club have done in getting players out has been very, very good and long last. But now it needs to reflect on the incoming. But the next one, obviously, and it's going to be about the youth, is Paul O'Keefe tweeted this, I think, an hour before the show. What? That's come up saying Ange Postecoglou wants to buy top young talents to be able to develop. Now, I am a bit wary of this one, and I'm going to tread carefully with what I'm about to say. Ange Postecoglou, when he's been here, and I will say, as you know, I am fully behind Ange Postecoglou. I have never turned on a manager. I won't turn on a manager. And if I ever do, which I highly ever doubt I will, Ange Postecoglou will not be the one I turn my back on. He will not be the one. I didn't do it for Nuno. I didn't do it for AVB and all the others you can say. But when he came, and after this season, everyone was like, don't worry, let Ange do what he does. He's a winner. He's this, which I stand by, believe and hope. One thing he hasn't done is come out with a saying like that. He has not. When he was at Celtic, and obviously I know the leagues are completely different, and the competition is so much more competitive here. But Ange Postecoglou was known back in Celtic for using his knowledge of the market in the Far East, where Tottenham currently are, finding players. And like I said, the quality was nowhere near. When he was at Japan, he's never done this. He's never come out and said, top young quality is what we're going to bring in and I'm going to coach them to success. But I know certain managers at a football club that reside in N17 that have all of a sudden come out with this saying. Now, I honestly believe with the young players we've got, not immediately, not instantly, but there is some real talent there in the future. But within that talent, and Alex, you've heard me say this so many goddamn times, I'm all for buying young talent. I love it, especially like you said, when you get me talking about Alfie Devine, I will go on for days if I could. But to help them get to where they are or get to where they need to go, you need diamonds. They are lumps of coal with the potential to turn into a diamond. Archie Gray, I think, is a diamond already. I think he is there. He just needs to be shined up and put in the right light. I am fully built. I'm very happy with that signing. But if you look at Liverpool, and I'm going to use Liverpool as an example, when they had Salah, Mane, Firmino, they bought Jota. They bought Diaz that we were just talking about. When they brought Harvey Elliott, when they bring in a youth product or raise one up, they bring in diamonds to help them. I think I'm all for this, but I'm sorry, and I might anger some people in here. I really might, but I personally think this has not come from Ange Postecoglou. This has come from above. Now, that may anger people with what I've said. I think this is not an Ange Postecoglou statement. I think this is the way Tottenham are going, and this is what we're going to do. And now you've come up with that. Now, I'm not saying he's been told to say that, but I don't know if people agree with me on that. But I think that isn't solely Ange. What about you, Mr. Box Office?
The problem is with this whole situation at the moment is that regardless what we think at the moment, Ange agreed to this process already, right?
Yep.
So regardless, he's not the main man at the end of the day. He's still a coach, even though I don't believe him as a coach, even though I think he's still a good manager. I don't know what to believe, but at the moment, whatever he's given, he's happy with, because he said all through a long time ago, before I think ahead of, when the season started, he said whatever signing comes in, he agreed. He's given yes to, basically. So he's got to make it work. He's got to make it work. I would be on board, but I just don't know. For me at the moment, there's no correlation to what Ange wants in terms of he wants to win the league. He's been saying that quite evidently, that he wants to not just be top four. He wants to win the league, or win something. He wants to go to win something big. And the club, which we've not heard from. Let's be honest here, we've not heard from. So there is a bit of a conflict in my eyes, which this is why I can't believe. But unfortunately, because we've been through what we've been through before, I think that's why my head was gone, which was a long time ago. Everyone knows it now, because if you don't watch Mr. Box Office TV, I told you there already, right? And for me, I don't see the coaches at the moment to improve these players. Now, they might have a bit of quality. I see the quality with Berval. I see the quality with Archie Gray. I'm not going over the top about them, though, but they need to do better. If you want to be at that level, which is what that's what you want to be, where you want to be, not at the level of what they're on now. You need either coaches to make you better as an individual, as a player, or they've got to strive to be that player. You know what I mean? Or they're going to have to leave and find somewhere else to become that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my answer at the moment, my opinion at the moment is that if this is the way that they want to go, they've got to make it work. They've got to show me. I think the problem is at the moment is there's just too much of this. Oh, you've got to believe in it. You've got to believe in it. You've got to believe in it. And the more you're pushing people that are not really on board with Ange, like myself, I'd just go in the other way. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I did not like Pochettino. I did not like Pochettino when he came in. Yeah, second season, I wasn't there with him. But then,
Poch's second season.
what? Poch's second
Poch's
season. Yeah, I was halfway through his second season. I was still not there with him. But then I started to get on board because I was starting to see things different that I've never seen before. I've never seen before, and it was something of a different feeling. And sometimes it will take a little bit longer for certain people because some of us have supported this club for a very, very long time since we were kids. To now I'm 37 years old, going strong, right? And we've seen it and done it and had the T-shirt now, so we're not fools anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to give you an answer, I think Ange is going to have to make it work, and a lot of us, unfortunately, have just got to be persuaded in the day. You know what I mean? And just need to see it for ourselves at the moment. What we can't do, I can't do this hope. I can't. This is blind hope. I can't do it. Yeah. But what I will say is, if you're going to do this youth thing, you need experienced players to look up to. And at the moment, we're going to talk about one player that has got his 10 years. But I don't want to. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay, just quickly, Alex, sorry, Jacob. I answer questions at the end, but do you know what? What I will do, because I mentioned it, and as it's you and you asked so nicely, Jacob, we'll just answer this question now. This is to me is a really good question, and I've been saying this now. Jacob asked, oh, and by the way, Hennessy, I didn't see it. Buddy, thank you very much indeed for the 6-month membership, brother. I hope you're good and well. Evening, gents. Eze isn't coming. Ready for, yep. So there we go. So, Alex, I'll get you to answer last week. Where on earth are those hidden gems from the Asian markets that Ange was supposed to be an expert on? And as well, obviously, there was with Mun's knowledge over there. Now the comparison I'm going to use is going to get laughed at, but you'll understand where I'm going. Now, when Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal, his main attribute was he knew the French market better than absolutely anyone whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing the French market to the Far East market, but until Arsene Wenger came, no one had heard of Patrick Vieira. He was doing terrible in Milan. No one had heard of Emmanuel Petit. No one had heard of Nicolas Anelka. Sylvain Wiltord. You can go on and on and on. Arsenal got him. Obviously, he revolutionised the way football is played, and I'll always give him credit for that. But he knew this market and got those players before anyone even knew who they were. And people were like, what the hell is going on here? Now, obviously, one of the big plus points to the club would have been, oh mate, it's not even Jacob, is it? But it's United Spurs North America. But we'll answer the question anyway. Thank you for that, Gary. But yeah, I think some of that pull for Ange Postecoglou would have been his knowledge of that part of the world, because let's see, Matoma and everyone else, they are unearthing good talent there. Plus, not just only is it good talent that is there, we all know the financial rewards for any team around the world that has anyone from that market, because they are so passionate about their players. Are you surprised, Alex, that we haven't gone down the Far East market?
I'm not, because I think we were always going to do this model of a director of football and Ange being the coach, wasn't it? So I'm not surprised. No,
He did it at Celtic as well, didn't he?
well, that's the thing. So, but the difference is between Celtic and Tottenham. Celtic have got winners. They've won. They've got they've got a template of winning. So when you've got a template of winning, and Ange Postecoglou's got a experience of winning, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just really just where you're going to move forward, and that's it. So, you know, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, that he hasn't done it. And I don't think they were ever going to do it anyway, because even Simon Davies, the youth director, said, you know, that he at the end of the day he is just a coach. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
is looked as a coach, even though they have a very good relationship, which I think is one of the positives about Ange Postecoglou. I can't believe you're going to hear of actual. Don't get used to it, but I'm actually saying positive about Ange Postecoglou is that relationship between him and Simon Davies is a. I think you know this as well, Brian,
Yeah.
because I think you spoke to
Simon Davies.
Simon
Yeah.
Davies himself. But yeah, I think at the moment, I think the person that is the main person, the main people are Scott Munn, who for me, I've not heard anything from him. I've only heard one thing from him, and that's it. I don't even think he actually exists. And Johan Lang, who I'm just meh. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, like Newcastle getting Paul Mitchell was a more of a scoop than what we've got at the moment. I'm sorry, I don't even know. I think he's even worse than bloody Prodigy, who I can't stand. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm not surprised. To answer the question, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? But because of the structure that we've got, I don't think they would have. Taken his advice on players, and that's it really.
Okay.
Because he's not the manager. He's not the full manager. He's not the manager, isn't he? He's the
True.
actual coach, isn't he? Head coach.
Right. So you mentioned it before. We will be doing questions after we've discussed this. Now, today marks 10 years of Ben Davies being a Tottenham Hotspur player. Now, first of all, when we signed Ben Davies, I will be honest, I wanted him so badly and I thought he was better than Danny Rose, because at that time, before Danny Rose had developed to what Poch had done, when I used to go to Spurs, all I saw was Danny Rose was brilliant going forward, but always so exposed. And it was always coming down that side of the channel. But then Poch got hold of him. And I think, love him or hate him, Ben Davies has been here 10 years. Whether you deem it's too long, if you've been somewhere for 10 years, no matter what, it's an achievement. I'll say that first of all. That is it. But the fact he's here, obviously, I think from what I'm hearing, he may sign another year extension. And the reason they want to do this before anyone goes batshit crazy, from what I'm hearing, the reason that Spurs are wanting to offer him another year is because apparently within the camp, within the youth, within the youngsters, he's always with them. He's always literally got an ear to listen to. He's literally now, obviously, it's the end of his career. He can't play left back because he'll just get exposed. He's been there 10 years. I think what people are getting annoyed about, and I understand it both sides. 10 years, yes, wonderful achievement. Well done, Ben. But then you look at it and thinking, right, he's not good enough to play right now. And whilst we're trying to get all these transfers and winning news and everything, this comes out. Now, I'm going to compare it to something that goes to show how I think where we are and what we were. 10 years ago today, Ben Davies signed, and we're doing this because obviously there's some younger fans that may have seen him, loved him, and may only know Ben Davies as a left back, left centre back, whatever. Didn't get to see the Danny Roses or the players previously. But on Monday coming, and I don't know if the club will do this on this day or whatever, 30 years ago to the day Monday, Tottenham Hotspur announced the earth-shattering, world-stopping transfer of one Jurgen Klinsmann. Now, obviously, they're not the same position. They're not the same players. They're not the same. Now, I see a lot of them do happy birthday this, happy birthday that, 10 years here, 10 years ago that. 30 years ago when that happened, obviously the club was very, very different then, so I'm not saying anything on that. But that's the kind of calibre that Spurs we could attract a Jurgen Klinsmann who signed for Tottenham Hotspur when we had a 12-point deduction, were out the FA Cup and had no chance of any European football other than winning a cup, and we're out of one. But they're the kind of calibre of players that could come. And now we're here waiting to see what happens. I mean, where are you on Ben? Like I said, Ben Davies has been a great servant. Great servant. I don't think he's going to be playing a lot of game time. I think if he gets a contract, it's solely to be more on a coaching kind of mentoring kind of capacity. Where are you, Alex, on one Ben Davies? You're mute again, Alex, bro.
I just want to ask you a question, Brian. I need
Yeah,
to
go on,
ask
bro.
you a question. Yeah. What are you actually learning from Ben Davies?
Listen, that part, when it comes, unless you're a left back or left wing back, or sorry, left back or left centre back, I don't know. But the one thing, what I would imagine Ben Davies could teach you, because one thing I won't have anyone say, if people can bemoan his talent, bemoan his quality, whatever. When people want to talk about the bad eggs or the bad influences or the lazy professionals like an Ndombele, whatever, Ben Davies cannot be labelled in either of them. Model professional, whether it's a brilliant standard or whatever, never in trouble, always there, and an education on how to be the model pro. I'm not saying he can influence them playing wise, but that's what I think Ben Davies is offering coaching, because it certainly isn't going to be how to score great goals or midfield, whatever. So that would be my answer to that. I think he's teaching them more about how to be a person off the pitch and how to look after your body and everything, as opposed to how to be a better player, if you know what I mean.
Well, the reason why I asked that is that it's all good doing that, but for a young player, what are you learning from someone that's 1-0? He's not a good level, and that's it. And I'm talking about a player that, yeah, he's done okay, but what is he offering in that sense of how to teach someone a win? You know what I mean? This is the difference between a Perisic and Nicky Butt, which I heard today, saying, "Oh well, he's a good pro, Nicky Butt. Well, he still won." Gary Neville, Phil Neville.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You might think they're not, but they've won. Yes, it's from Manchester United, but they've won. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I said about the whole thing about Harry Kane being a loser, because he's not won no trophies. So what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So it's like, great, but it don't really offer you a lot of sense. In that sense, is that when it's a cup final, what is Davies offering? If we're going for the league, what is Davies offering to get the players over that line? It's simple as that. And like I said before, David Harris and me were arguing about this guy all through lockdown. I had to apologise to him about Sanchez, Davis, Brinks, and Dyer. Virgil van Dyer, I call him now, because he used to be Virgil van Dyer. Yeah, because everyone called him Virgil van Dyer, the Conte. So, you know, he's done okay. But that's a lot of that's the summation about Tottenham. We've done okay.
No,
You know what I mean?
I get that. I mean, again, right? Okay, let's have, before I go out to questions, we'll have one thing. And I've got a fellow Torontonian here. Big up, Chris, a channel member. Big up, buddy. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're good, and hope to see you at the yard very shortly, because the season is coming and the yard will be rocking. Ben Davies, right now, do you want to see him go, or not fussed, or go at the end of this season? Let's just see. Forget sell, whatever. Should he? I can't. I should say it's in the song. Should he stay or should he go? Let's have a look what people say. Ryan, you'll be waiting a long time, mate. He's going to learn some Spanish, and you're going to have to wear an 8 Dagul shirt at a Spurs game. I look forward to it. I'm trying to. Anyone wants to have a bet with me? I'm trying to get an army of 8 Daguls. See how many people I'm getting the Spurs stadium that have lost a bet. Good point, Gary. This is what Scott. Look at Scott Cart. This is actually a very good point. I know Man City. Listen, when you're comparing Man City as a football club, as in the players, the finances, whatever, Scott Carson, if you watch any of the documentaries on Manchester City, this man is idolised by the players. He's what now, 40, I think? And they keep giving him a year contract to stay around the team. So, do you know what? That's actually a really good point. When you want to talk about players like that, that's actually a really good point. That's actually a really good point. Right. We are now going to go through the questions. So I've got a few. The comments have been going mad. So I'm going to go on the ones we've got. So, first one's from Phil P. Would Kulu benefit from having a striker like Tony up front to head the ball at the back stick for his out to in crosses like Kane did for the first 6 months? Alex?
I've given up on Kulu. I'm sorry. I think he's had enough chances already. I think we just need to just get rid. I think the player that I think I was more harsh on, that I think would have been, which had a very good first 10 games, by the way, was Perisic. I think Perisic right now would be so useful to our team right now. I think I'd rather have taken him than Werner all day long, because I think Perisic would have given us experience, would have won. He made Richarlison look really good. Let's be honest here, right? Because he was always putting that cross in for Richarlison, just header it in, and that's it. You know what I mean? So for me, I think Kulu. I know he's staying, but he's got to have to do an absolute wonder, a wonder. And for me, unfortunately, Ivan Toney ain't going to come here. We ain't got the bottle to sign him.
There you
We
go.
ain't got the
Actually,
bottle to sign him. Because,
before,
like I said, I need Ivan Toney in my club, because I'd rather have Ivan Toney in my club, not because he's got arrogance, and I don't need to worry about his confidence if he misses chances, because he'll just shrug his shoulder like a arrogant, just swag, like a swag. Don't really care, because he knows he gets all the ladies, and that's it, right? Right. Go and then just say, I'm going to bang it in the next couple of minutes. I'll bang it in. I don't really care. The fans have a go at him. So what? I'll show you. Bang it in the mat, and that's it. And before anybody says, oh, he's got so much arrogance, what does Sheringham have, by the way, bro? Arrogance. What was he doing? Won Champions Leagues. What did Berbatov have, by the way? Oh, yeah, arrogance. What did he do? Win Champions Leagues, win trophies. Do you know what I mean? Defoe. What did he do? Lead Tottenham. Yeah, win the FA Cup for with Portsmouth, by the way, as well. Yeah, right. So please don't talk to me about arrogance. Oh, we don't like attitude. We don't like attitudes. Well, look, when we've got nice guys like Son, yeah. Well, Son's okay. He's actually very decent. He's had a lot. Yeah, Johnson, Werner, Solomon. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I don't think Richarlison's that. I think yes, he's arrogant, but arrogant in the wrong way. Right.
yeah,
Right. But he has got, unfortunately, a bit nice tendencies a little bit as well. Right. For me. Right. Look what happens. We've got a useless forward line, which I've been telling everyone, even when we won 4-0 against Aston Villa, we're useless. And look who's right again. Mr. Box Office again. Back to you, Brian. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know.
Right. So what I want to do, because I wanted to have I love the nostalgia thing at the end. I'm going to ask a question, pour your comments in to this question, and then I'm going to show the responses after we've gone through the questions. Now, obviously, we lost Pierre-Emile Højbjerg yesterday. And as you know, Alex, there's a certain person in our community, Queen Ellie, who idolised him, who loved him, and is now really upset, which people do when players go. And I made sure she's okay. I was like, I know what it's like now. I want to know which players for you guys, and there's 207 with us now. Has there been a player that literally broke your heart and got emotional when they left? And who was it? For me, I'll tell you now, when Jan Vertonghen left, I was in pieces. When Paul Gascoigne left when I was 12 years old, 13, I cried my eyes out. Literally bawled my eyes out. So I want to know from you guys, you're all of all different ages, different countries of origin, what player that has left Spurs really, really got you emotional? Next question, we'll look at the answers after, Alex. Next question, Bobby K. How long are you visiting Canada on this trip? Well, I'm here till next April when I come back home to London for my eldest nephew's bar mitzvah and mum's 70th the next day. So April is my next visit home to London. So I would be, my trip to Canada this time is October. I came back, October to October is going to be 18 months. No, 20 months. 20 months on this visit. Next one for you, Alex, from Matt. Do you back Ange?
No.
Okay, we'll go on to the next one. What makes us believe that Ange is not part of all this? But listen, big thing, when it comes to like I said, I think he does want some young players. That part I don't dispute. I don't dispute that. What I do throw up and dispute is whether he is saying this is the way the club is going now. We are going to go down the young talent and young market and undiscovered, maybe not even undiscovered. That might be me putting words in there. But I know a chairman that has done this many, many a time, and he resides in N17, so he could have a part in it. But I don't think Ange Postecoglou has sat down since he's joined and said, right, this is it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solely rely on young prospects and up and coming prospects, because that's how I'm going to do it, because he hasn't done it before. So he could have a part in it, but I don't think he is 100% behind this statement. What about you, Alex?
What makes us believe that Ange is not part of all this? I don't know. I've got no idea, Brian. I think all the stuff it's. I think everyone's starting to cotton on to what there's. The journalists are saying it's advanced. We admire. We want this. It's just all the BS. Even I love Alistair Gold as a journalist. Absolutely love him as a journalist. He's a brilliant journalist. I love his videos, even though he goes on his YouTube channel, but that's just him. That's why it makes him unique. I love it. But recently, I just thought, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? I just like, you know what I mean? Again, I absolutely love this guy, and I would take him. He's one of the best journalists going. Absolutely, but I just think. I just think he's just a spokesperson for Tottenham, just so just put that out to the fans to just keep them happy. You know what I mean? Just to keep, and it's like I'm not a mug. You know what I mean? I stick by what I said. I'm sitting on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV, and just walking at the end of the season. I'm sorry. I'm so.
I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. But I don't see him last. He signed a 5-year contract, didn't he? I don't see him lasting 5 years. I want him to. I don't see it.
Mate, we have to see what happened with Arsenal. It has to be similar to Arsenal. Then we have to see the fan base go mad, and then this board stick with Ange, regardless what the fans think. I stick by what I said. You know what I said already, Brian. You've heard me how many times?
Of course. So, listen, when it comes to backing a manager, that's where we've got our problems.
We have to see it. We have to see it, and then I can be on board. But the problem is, because social media is so huge now.
Yeah.
But when it was Poch, it wasn't so big. It wasn't so big. So I think because there's not so much all this heat on people now to say, oh, you got to change your mind. You got to change your mind. Oh, you're so negative. You're so negative, and I don't really care because I've done this 4 years. So I've not been different since then because I've not been given anything to believe. They don't believe. They don't show me the belief, Brian. They don't show me belief. If they show me belief, right? And the thing that's surprising about this though, I've got people that never. I'm arguing with them mostly, yeah, and they're good. They're good people because I love work. I love doing streams with them, yeah, right. Yep. And they're starting to get depressed about this. One of them's in your chat, James Flower. Like I love. You know what? Me and him have had arguments.
I've seen them.
But then in saying that, it's the thing that we have arguments, but then you start coming to a bit of a cohesiveness a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm saying, I say, stick to where you're thinking because I'm not here to change your mind. No, you're not changing my mind, but don't change your mind. Like Deji, I'm seeing it from Deji now. I'm seeing this from Deji. Like I'm streaming him, and I see him like, what is this? And I'm like, if I'm seeing people that are like, they're very confident, especially Deji, who's really confident in himself, yeah, saying, I back my team, and he's sitting there saying what he's saying. There's something going on, isn't there? You know what I mean? Big up Deji, by the way, every single time, yeah?
Alex, we've got 2 questions to get through, then I'm going to go through the list.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right, bro, that's all right. So we'll do these questions quickly. Daniela, what are the panel's thoughts on the new numbers for Dogi and Vicario? Listen, I put a tweet out about it. I didn't know that Destiny had number 13 at Udinese. I'm old school where I just look at positions, and when I hear a certain number, I think automatically of a position. And for me, 1 and 13 is always in my day goalkeeper and backup, substitute goalkeeper. But he's got an attachment to that number, so I get that. Vicario was always going to get the number 1 after Hugo left. Alex, your thoughts quickly on the numbers?
Is what it is, isn't it? I'm not really fussed at all. But them two need better seasons. Need better seasons next season. I give it to you. And I had a very interesting conversation with a certain legend on the channel on Sunday, and he said about the leaders, and you mentioned Romero, and you mentioned Vicario, and absolutely spot on, because yes, he needs to be better next season, but I see him more of a captain than Son all day long. I was at the stadium and as soon as I saw him, he's having a go at the players. He's saying to Emerson, "What you doing?" But yeah, Adoji, he needs to be better next season. And Poro, I haven't been impressed with it. I think he can do more, and I think the system doesn't work for him. But on numbers, it is what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? Sorry, Brian.
No worries, mate. No worries. Just to let people know from Damasio, as we've been streaming, it looks like Emerson Royale to Milan is getting closer and closer. Right, one word answer for this, Alex, because then we're going to go through the one name answer, because the person I'm going to say is a double-barreled. Who is the alternative to Eze? One player, name one player, Alex.
Grealish.
Okay, you're going Grealish. I'm going to go one where people will get annoyed. And I said, if we don't get Eze, there's one person, and his name is Morgan Gibbs-White. Love that player. Love him. But right now we're going to go through to the heartbreaking ones and see who people got emotional about. Ben has said Luka Modric. Yeah, I can totally get that one. Birthday Boy has said Van der Vaart. Paul Russell, do you know what? Hoddle left as Gaza came. And I remember seeing Hoddle right at the end, but that was when I was like, he left in 87, didn't he? So I was like 7 years old. But I totally get why people would have been absolutely devastated with that. The man, of course, Ginola. Yep, especially the way it ended with Graham. Modric. I read that as Madders for one moment. I was like, Madders gone. We got a Hoddle. We got Berbatov. Yeah, but do you know what, Parker? Berbatov was a hard one, especially with Fraser Campbell and obviously Robbie Keane. Chris Waddle, mate. Michael, the last season he had at Gaza's first season, do you remember that goal? He scored 2 worldies against Villa, and he scored a goal against Southampton on a muddy pitch from about 40 yards. Gareth Bale, I would say do Arsenal, Angus, but we're going to end it with Spurs. Ginola's coming up. Alex, I will cry tears of happiness when that day happens. Gareth Bale never looked at Spurs the same way. Who else have we got? Gascoigne. Yeah, I don't know how old you were, Antonio. When he left, I was 12, 13. Robbie Keane first time around, and Waddle and Hoddle, Bale, Gaza and Kane, Sheringham. Let's see if any. Alexander Hilton was Gaza. Do you know what? With Gareth Bale, I understand why people are feeling that way. When he left, I was so pissed off. I wouldn't say I was emotional. Definitely pissed off. Berbatov, yeah. Bale, Modric. Rumi has gone. Hoddle, Waddle, Gaza, Bale and Kane. Mate, could you imagine if we had all that team? If they're all of the same age and we're in the same team.
There's a reason why they left, mate.
Michael, that's a big shout. Do you know how many times he only played one season for us, Richard Goff, before going back up north to Rangers? The amount of people I hear when I ask this question, the Richard Goff's name comes up. Who else have we got? Jurgen Klinsmann, obviously. Mark is starting to be funny. Another Mark is starting to be funny. Archibald's a big one. Archibald is a big one. Let's see. Is there any others? Balginola, Waddle, Lineker. That was near the end with Sugar and the wheels falling off.
I'm not surprised about Ryan's answer. I'm not surprised about Ryan's answer.
That was a frustrating one. That's probably the most. Oh no, Harry Kane, obviously. You said what? Ryan is in my little brother.
Yeah. No, Ryan McFar.
What time?
7:14.
7:40. Okay, bloody hell, I've got to go a little while back. Paddy, I've seen your question, buddy, but we're about to wrap up. So I'm just going 7:14, which is 2:14 my time. Bloody hell, how far back? My God, the chat. You guys have been brilliant in the chat again today, people. 2:14. Where am I? I'm at 2:12. 2:14. Come on, my God. Look at the great action in the chat. Ben's brought it up.
Should I just answer this question?
Yeah, go on, brother.
Basically, I said from the very, very, very get-go, I need persuading because I'm done with trying to back managers. I didn't know about him, and yeah, he started well, but he didn't need to do that well. To get the fans on board because he just needs to play the ball forward, like Dan says. I think he said it perfectly and have a personality and got the fans on board straight away. So I didn't buy it straight away. I needed more time. As time's gone on, yeah, certain things I agree with him, but then he's been hypocritical, and that's it. And I don't think the football's been great. And I just think he's been overhyped, and I just need more time as far as I'm concerned. So I don't back him. No, I don't think he's there with the. I don't think his mindset is similar to the board, because I haven't said anything. I don't know what we are as a team. He might say it, but when you look at the whole club, we're not the same. And yeah, I just don't think it's going to work out. And I've got history on my side. And like I said, I zoned out after Pochettino, and that's why you see the way I act as Mr. Box Office on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV. And I don't see anything different. It's the reason why I haven't streamed for quite a while, because I'm going to be saying the same things. You know what I mean? So, which is not great, because then I feel frustrated and I just want to just say how it is, and that's it. So no, I'm just not there with him. I'm not there with him. Okay. I know people love him, but that's just me, and I need more time to see what happens, and that's it. And until I see something different and see something I can grow with at the moment, I'm not changing, and I ain't changing. That's it. So hopefully, well, if that's not the answer you want, sorry, but that's the answer I'm going to give you.
There you go. So what I will say is that as I'm going through this, trying to find that comment, which I have found, there's some quality names. Michael Carrick, that was a tough one. Say Stephen Carr, and that's come from Anthony, an Arsenal fan. Man, that guy had everything. Graham Roberts is obviously one that's come up. Defoe, but you've just spoken about a manager. I'm just going to leave it on Ryan McFarlane's comment, because that man was, for me, the catalyst of where we are now. Certainly was the catalyst from me with him departing for me to be the way I am when it comes to the board. But on that note, Alex, where can people find you?
Just before I go on to where you can find me, I have to say I was very upset Defoe left. I was very upset Gareth Bell left. And I think there's so many others as well. Berbatov as well really got to me. I think the Gareth Bell one, that year that he had last year with Villas-Boas, he was absolutely fantastic. And there was one goal that really summed it up for me. He put a goal right at the top bins against West Ham at Upton Park. It got us the winner. It was the worst time of my life. And this is what football does to you. When you have a moment like that and you're watching it on TV, Alex's dad and Alex went absolutely bonkers. You know what I mean? And that's what football does to you. You know what I mean? Even when you're going through the worst time of your life. You know what I mean? Defoe was the most annoying thing in the world for me, because I knew when he went to Portsmouth, he was going to cause a problem for us, and he did.
Yep. So Alex, let people know, because I've got way over and I've got a meeting in 10 minutes.
Sorry.
No worries, mate. I've loved having you on the chat. Wherever you on again, brother. Wherever you on again.
Where
can people find you?
yeah, Mr. Box Office TV. I'm going to be on tour in the next couple of weeks. So you'll see a few different videos. Talk about Tottenham, but maybe more relaxed. And maybe some well, maybe some sort of different videos anyway. But yeah, that's what you'll where you'll find me, and that's it. And thank you for inviting me, Brian. It's been really good. Hopefully, it's not it won't be the last, but
Definitely
I
not.
do appreciate it. And like I said before, I respect this man because yeah, I've been a bit harsh with him, but we all know it's about football with me, between you and you. You're an
Of
absolutely
course.
gentleman, and respect to you as well. Big
There
up to
you
you.
go, Alex. Always a pleasure, man. I will say Mr. KPV is in the building, so big up to him.
Big up.
I will say, guys, thank you so much for joining again. We've had over 200 of you in here. Like I said, we're putting a lot more regular content out and more balanced and concise debating rather than just shouting and screaming like I used to all the time, and others. And we're really enjoying what we're doing and putting new content out. So if you are liking the content, please, on your way out, just hit that like button so we can push it out to more people. And give us a subscribe, hit the subscribe button as well if you want to. And we will see you very, very, very soon. I will be back tomorrow with James Flower for Evening Brews. So all I will say is like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, Levy out. Tottenham.